Just try to terminate this. What is function prototyping? It is very much essential to give the prototype of the function in the beginning of the program execution. So what basically prototype tells? Prototype tells the it's like it introduces the function to the compiler. It tells to the compiler that what are the different parameters that the function is taking and what is the return type of that particular function. That means what it is expecting as an input and what it is providing as an output. So these details will be given by the function prototyping. We are informing to the compiler. That is what is function prototyping. For example, in this statement, what you are telling to the compiler. So if you assume that this is the compiler, if we assume that this is the compiler, so with this prototype, what we are telling to the compiler is that add is a function which is taking two integer parameters, which will take two numbers as input and which will give one integer as output. So this is what is function prototype. So it consists of three parts. It is name of the function, and second one is what are the parameters. Second one is what are the parameters, or in easier terms, we can call it as input. What is the input? And this is what is the return type. Third one is what is the return type, or in other words, you can call it as easier terms output. So every function prototype will contain these three parts, and we are informing to the compiler. We are informing to the compiler in the beginning that add is a function which takes two integer parameters and which is going to return an integer type of data. In C, you must have studied about different functions. Function with there are four categories of functions what we have studied in C. So among those four categories, this is one of the categories indicating the functions prototyping. Indicating the functions prototyping. So this is the function category in which the function is taking parameters and returning value. Function is taking parameters and returning values. So though you have not studied functions in C, so you will understand the concepts now, how it actually is a function and how it will take values and all. So a very simple function, this very simple program will make you to understand the working of functions. So though you have not understood in C, or those who have not gone through C, so no need to worry, just concentrate on the functions, how the functions work. So basically what is a function? It is a set of statements written for performing some task and provide some return value. Provide some return value based on the type of function being executed. Now this is as usual header file, and this is the function prototype what I have just explained. We are advertising to the compiler. Until now our programs were containing only main function, and we have one more function here, that is add function. So this is nothing but the main function, and this is nothing but the add function. Now in this case we have two different functions. In this case we have two different functions, main function and the add function. We have two different functions, main function and the add function. Now whenever program execution starts, the compiler will invoke the execution of main function. So usually how the flow works here is, this is OS, or for simplicity let us assume it as a compiler. So OS will invoke what? OS will call main function. OS will call main function. This main function will call, in this case, add function. This main function is calling add function. It will assign some work. Then it will give back the result. It will give back the result. And finally, the main function will return to the caller. So this is called as function call assigning work. This is called as function call, and this is called as return statement. 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 So in simple terminology, what happens? The main gives work to main function. The operating system will call the main function. Main function itself will do the work and give back the result. In case of modular programming, though the strength of C is, we have studied in the beginning that it is a structured programming language, or it allows us to perform programming by using modules. That means we have divided the task. Now main function is assigning the task to this add function. This add function will do the work and give back the result to the main function. It will display the values and finally return back to the operating system. Finally, it will return back to the operating system. So that is how the functions work. That is how the functions work. So there are different categories of the functions. Functions which will not take any values and which will not return anything. Functions which take values, not return anything. Functions will take values and return the values. This is what the third category we are studying. There is one more type of function. Now let us see the execution of the main function, execution of the program. As we all know, the program execution will always start from the main function. So main is the first function which will begin the execution whenever you start the program. And when we have started here, what we have done, we have declared three variables. That is X, Y, and Z. Three variables are being declared in the very first line. So what happens in the first line? Three variables X, Y, and Z are being declared. Ask user to enter the number, enter the value of X, and store it in a variable called X. Say assume you have given a value of X as 10, and 10 will be stored in that particular memory location. In this statement, 10 will be read and stored in the variable X. Next, ask user to enter another number, and that will be stored in the variable Y. Say assume you have given number 20. Now what is the functionality here is main function. If you look at this diagram, main function is assigning some work to the add function. With this statement, add statement, we are calling the definition of the add function. We are calling, one second, call. This is called as function call. We are calling what? Main is invoking the definition of the add function. Now this is what is the name of the add function, and what are the parameters we are passing? X and Y we are passing. What is present in X? In X we have 10. What is present in Y? In Y we have 20. That means what is A here? A is 10 and B is 20. Please concentrate. Whatever we pass the parameters there. So these parameters will be replaced in these arguments. These are called as formal parameters. They will receive. That means X will be assigned to A and Y will be assigned to B. Y will be assigned to B. Now A is 10 and B is 20. We are just sending the values to the function so that it will add the numbers and give back the result. So add function is being called, parameters are received. Now this is body of the function, opening bracket and closing bracket. Within the opening bracket and closing bracket, the body of function will be returned. What is happening within the body? Simply we are returning what? Sum of A and B. Add A and B. What is sum of A and B? A is 10, B is 20. What is this A plus B? A plus B will be 30. A plus B is 30. And what this statement does? Simply return this 30. So return 30 to the what? To the caller. Return 30. It is going to return going to return 30. Yes, it's going to return 30. Now, what is the outcome of this RHS? It will take different things to explain this. What is the outcome of this RHS? This function has returned what? 30. And that 30 is being assigned to what? Z. Now, what is the value that we have got in the result? Z has got a value of 30. And finally, we are printing that 30. That is C out Z. What is the value present in Z? In Z, we have 30. So add function is called add has returned a value of 30 to the main, and main is printing that 30. So E out Z. What is the value present in Z now? The value present in Z is not 10. 1 second. The value present in Z is 30, and we are displaying the value 30 successfully. And this is what is the output. This is what is the output of the program. Let us see the execution function proto1.cpp. No, I closed that because it is lowering the speed of the system. For giving demonstration, let me check if the system gets on. The system works properly. With that, then I give the demonstration. Any values you give, that is how the function call and return will work. So if you have any doubts in this part, please ask me how the functions work and all. So this is a key concept what we should go through now. Depending on this, there will be so many other aspects what we study later. Is there anyone who has doubt with these concepts? If no questions, then I'll go with the next part. This is the theoretical explanation, whatever I gave just now. Function prototype, which is another function is being called, another simple example for function call, calling a function and getting back the result values. Now coming to function overloading. What the function overloading says. Let me check whether I can give the function prototype definition of function prototyping. I think this both they are required at the later stage. Just copy. We're just trying to demonstrate how the function add is being called and how it is returning the values. In one solution explorer, we cannot execute two C programs. That's why I have to remove one C program, and we have to keep the program which we want to execute. We have to keep the program which we want to execute. Right? So this is the program which we have studied just now. Right? I'll just try to run the program. Let us see how the flow works. It will ask user to enter two numbers. Enter the first number, store it in the variable X. Enter the second number, store it in the variable Y. Then add the two numbers by calling function add and get back the result from the add function and display it in the main function itself. So it is serving two purposes, the function prototyping as well as the function call and return values. So it is clearly asking to the user to what? To enter a number. What was the first number? First number was 10. And you have to give 10 as the input and then press enter. It will ask you another number. Enter the second number. Second number is 20. Then say enter. So what it is going to display? The sum of two numbers is equal to 30. Then press any key. That is how the function prototyping will work. That is essential to indicate. And next thing is what we have is function overloading. You must have studied what is function overloading. So what is function overloading? Function overloading is one in which we use the same interface name for calling more than one type of function. That is what is called as function overloading. Next bit is about function overloading. Function overloading. So C++ is allowing two or more functions to have the same name. C++ allows two or more functions to have the same name but different set of parameters. That is called as different set of parameters or different type of parameters. There must be difference in either the number of parameters or type of parameters. Then it is called as function overloading. So they will be having the functions will be having different signatures. What is the meaning of signature? Signature means the number, type, and sequence of arguments what they need, what they take during the execution. That is what is called as function overloading. That means if you want to use the same interface name push for inserting integer as well as for inserting character. So what is the name of the interface? Push is the name of the interface which is same. Again here push is same interface name but the parameters are different. This is integer parameter and this is character parameter. So let us take the example of function overloading. So what we are trying to do here is we are declaring two functions here, add and add. If you can see here, both the functions are having same name. So when the two functions are having same name, but if you can see the number of parameters what they take, it is taking two parameters and it is taking three parameters, 1, 2, 3 parameters. Here 1, 2, 2 parameters. So then these two are called as overloaded functions. These two are called as, or we call add is overloaded. We call add is overloaded. So how overloading will work? Depending on the function definition will be called depending on the name and type of the parameter. If you can see the main, just now we have seen how the function will be called and how the return type will be received from the main function. In the beginning, we are declaring two variables x and y. Then we are calling the add function. We are calling the add function by passing 10 and 20 as a parameter. So how many parameters we are passing? Two parameters we are passing. There are two definitions of the add function. This is definition 1 for the add function. That means this is first definition and this is another definition for the add function. Definition 2. These are the two definitions for the add function. The function definition will be called based on the name and number of parameters in this case. How many parameters we are passing? Two parameters. That means which will match among these. This is taking two parameters and this is taking three parameters. So obviously in this case what happens? This particular definition will be called. This particular definition will be called. Because depending on the number of parameters, the function which will take the function definition, which will take two parameters will be called. Now what will be the value of this 10 will be copied to A. This 20 will be assigned to B. Then perform A plus B and simply return that value. Now what will be the value of X? X will be 10 plus 20 because what we are returning here from this function is returning back to caller. What is the return type? I'll write in this way only so that it will be clear. So what we have assigned the work to the function and now we are returning value. So what we are returning here, we are simply returning sum of A and B. What is 10 plus 20? 10 plus 20 is 30. What is the outcome of this? After adding 10 and 20, what we have got? 30. And that we have to assign to X. Now after this statement, what is the value of x? Value of x is 30. Similarly, what is the next statement? Again, we are calling add function. Now this time we are passing three parameters, 30, 40 and 50. Depending on the available two definitions, the compiler will decide which particular definition has to be called, depending on the number and type of parameters. Now this statement will compare the number of parameters, and this is the definition which is taking three parameters. Now control will be transferred to definition of this function. And it will be A will receive the value 30, B will receive the value 40, and C will receive the value 50. And then find the sum of A, B, C. So A plus B plus C will be what now? 30 plus 40, probably sum is 120. So return 120 result. What is being returned in this case? In this case, the value which is being returned is what? In the second case, we are returning the value 120. And that outcome of this RHS will be assigned to y. What is the value of y? Y will get a value of 120. And finally, we are displaying the value of x and y. So x is 30 and y is 120. So where we are displaying? Here. In the next statement in the main function. Next statement in the main function is what? Just display the value of x, go to next line, then display the value of y, go to next line. So that is how the function overloading will work. In this way. One second. 30. What were the values here? 30, 40, 50. Add comma 30, comma 40, and then comma 50. Yes, this is what is the overloaded definition. Okay, the one which I explained is different, and whatever is written here is different. So that is also another example for prototyping. This is also another example. Whatever we took here, example was integer add. This is also, see, the type of parameters are different. Let me show you this one only, because explanation one part and demonstration other part. So else I have to edit that program and show you. We're trying to call the overloaded definitions. It must be. So anyhow, it is clear by this explanation. Yes, prototyping should be clear in the beginning again here. What I'll do is I'll read that program itself, and let us go for that program. Int, what is again prototype expression different integer type. Again, it will take third integer type s. Classic markup. Then we're trying to display the value of x and y. Here in return a plus b, integer type of data, which is taking two integers. It will take three integers: integer a, integer b, later integer c, and finally we're trying to return the value sum a plus b plus c. Right. So as you can see, the first function is returning 30 and second function is returning 120. That is how the function overloading works. So basically the concept of function overloading is two functions having same name but different set of parameters. Same name but different set of parameters. Now let us see what happens if you write like this. The definitions. See a prototype I am trying to change. Two interfaces are being defined and definitions. Two times the same function is being defined. Right? We will get some error. Why? Because the function is definition. See previous definition. The function add is being defined two times. So there must be difference in the number or type of the parameters. That is what is meaning of the function overloading. That is what is meaning of the function overloading. This explanation part which is already covered. Now default values for the formal arguments for the functions. Now whatever arguments we pass for the functions, it's possible that you may skip some of the arguments and during the execution they will take the default values. They will take the default values during the execution. So that is what is we can have default values for some of the arguments in the function. So that is clear with this example. So what this prototype says, first value is it will the function the add function will take three arguments here. First one is integer argument, second one is integer argument, third one is also integer argument. But if you are not going to specify any values, by default it will assume 0. By default it will assume 0. That is, the third argument has a default value of 0. Now if you consider this function definition, we are calling add function by passing three parameters. Add is expecting three arguments and we are clearly following the instructions. We are giving three parameters 10, 20 and 30 as the arguments. So this will call the function and it will get back the result without any problem. Now let us see the next line. Add function is being called once again by passing 40 and 50 as the parameter. How many parameters add will take? Add will take three parameters. Look at the prototype. What the prototype of add says? Prototype of add says it will take three integer parameters. So if the third argument is not specified, then you have to assume the compiler will assume 0 as by default. So in this case also the function will be called successfully. Then what will be the value of A? A will be having 40, B will be having 50 and C will be assumed as 0. Because prototype what it says, the default value for third argument is 0 and the sum will be returned as 90 because 40 plus 50 plus 0 is 90. In the first case, 10 plus 20 plus 30 is 60. So that is how the default arguments will work. You can clearly specify if something is not specified by the programmer, then default argument will be assumed based on the value what we give. Here you can specify more than one default arguments. There we were specifying only one default argument. Here this we can specify two default arguments. That is, second default argument is 0 and third default argument is also 0. Only first argument you are going to specify. So this and this all three will work. In this case, no need to specify default argument. Here the default argument C will assume 0. Here C will be assumed 0. Here the default argument B will be assumed 0 and C will be assumed 0. That is how we can specify our own default argument. The purpose of default arguments is if user is not going to specify any of the values for the arguments, then the compiler should assume some default arguments during the execution. During the execution of the program. That is what is main intention of the default arguments. That is what we have said function prototyping and function overloading is over. So next thing is we have to start about classes and objects. Classes and objects. So actually there is one more concept what is covered here, that is about inline functions. So that is not there for your scope, but still I will explain what is inline function. Inline function is the one which is going to replace the function definition at the place of function call itself. At the place of function call itself. That is what is called as inline function. That is what is called as inline function. In case of inline functions, the control will not get transferred. In case of inline functions, the control will not get transferred from the main function to the function definition. Instead of that, wherever there is a function call, in the same line, the definition of the function will be replaced. The definition of the function will be replaced. That is how the inline functions will work. The remaining part, classes and objects, I'll cover in the next class. What we have covered till now is from the first module. This much part is covered. The function overloading. Now we have to talk about what are the classes and objects. Right? This I'll be trying to cover in the next class. 1 second. We'll just take your attendance.